Good morning, everybody. It's Jess Rhonda, and you know what time it is? It's time for some coffee talk. What time is it? 10:03. Ooh, what y'all doing? I'm here with you. I'm guessing y'all are at home or at work or wherever you at. Come on over and let's get the day started with a little conversation. It's chilly this morning. I don't know the temperature. I know if I go in the garage, it's cold. And I had to turn the heat on this morning to knock the chill off. So yeah, and it's Florida. It ain't snowing, but these streets is very icy. So you know it feels weird saying that because you look at things like on the internet every day. I do. It's part of a life. How much is the internet a part of your life? Like follow like obviously blogs and social media, entertainment because I come over here to talk about it. We, watch our reality shows and the things that we think is fun. Coffee talk is a little bit different. Like we talk about those things, but how much of your life is being encompassed by scrolling? And what happens when the scroll is gone? How do we communicate with each other? I went to Epcot like some years back, and that's what we do around here. And I think it's called Mission Earth, one of the attractions over there. And it goes all the way back to like how cavemen communicated with each other, and it rolls you on through technology and how reliant we are on technology in order to get through the day. The other day there was a big shutdown with Verizon and some other companies. What's up, T? You got your coffee? I know you're a Starbucks girl. We over here talking about how much of your life has been encompassed with the internet. This ain't on my list. This is just, this is what we gonna call our morning wellness. I'm gonna come over here in the morning and I'm gonna try to have, a morning wellness. And I can't tell you what that looks like because I just got here and I haven't decided what that is. But today's morning wellness is like, how do you get your mind away from whatever is going on? Because in real life, 2 degrees, oh my gosh, I feel like I shouldn't be complaining if it's 2 degrees. That's so unnatural. It's something I'm sure I couldn't probably survive anymore. Those days are behind me. That's why they bees over there with them fur coats on, y'all. And I'm not talking about a dead poodle around your neck. I'm talking about a whole ass gorilla. Matcha girl. Oh yeah, you quit coffee. Cold turkey. Wow. Did you have a lot of headaches when you quit coffee cold turkey? Because, you know, caffeine is something serious. Anyway, what do we do, in order to stay informed and not be overwhelmed with all the things that are going on? Like, and when I tell you the streets is icy, that shit's very scary because you don't know actually what to do in these types of situations. And I, the whole conversation that they're not actual law enforcement, that they are, law enforcement is also equally scary. So, be careful out there, carry your freedom papers, and, pray for the best. Um, yeah, but we spend a lot of time on social media. So, what do we do to kind of, I don't know, give your mind a break from it all? I'm an art person, so I will be being creative um, when I'm not here. I watched Potomac. Should I do that live later or should I just go ahead and record it? Do y'all want to talk about Potomac or not? It was very stressful. If y'all want to talk about it, I could come back at 7 and we could talk about it together. Otherwise, I'll just, run that thing. So y'all let me know. Do you want to talk about Potomac later live or not? Um, it was kind of stressful. So I'm a creative. I knew you were going to say that. T wants to talk about Potomac later. So, y'all, 7 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and post it when I get off of here. We'll be back to talk about the mess that happened over there in Colorado. Um, yeah, I like, fashion design is, if you don't know, is what I have a degree in. So I'm definitely going to be going back to that. I think for what I know, and my heart, my soul, and the ancestors reached out to me and said, focus on the things you know how to do. And I know how to create. My daughter is into gardening, and we're going to all learn together because I know she has all the information. Me, her sister, and the babies can get out there, get their hands dirty, and learn something about how to give back to this earth. That's where, my energy is going to go to keep my mind away from all the things that are going on. Let's get into the subjects. Um, let's start with some positive. Let's start with something positive over here. Oh, dang it. When I get, you know, to the next level, I'm going to be over here having someone do this part so I can just not be flubbing things up the way I do. Okay, good news. A group of Black doctors opened the first ever Black owned urgent care on the south side of Chicago. Love to hear it. A few years ago, Chicago's South Side saw a major milestone in healthcare when Dr. Reuben Rutland, Dr. Lauren Mitchell, and Dr. Arthur Williams opened the first Black owned urgent care center in the area. Their premier health urgent care and OCC health clinic was created to expand access, offer affordable walk-in service, and bring quality medical support closer to families who had long needed more options. Um, I love to hear it. When we talk about, how people of color are treated when, you go into hospitals and things of that nature, it always make you feel a little bit better, I think, to and it's not always the case. Hey, Dr. Jackie, some doctors that look like us don't always care for us in the same way, unless we got full pockets. But these are in a community situation. These doctors went over here, in the neighborhoods with the regular folks to create affordable health care. Because even if you got to pay for it out of pocket, and based on the way, the insurance companies work, you can't half afford it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Unless you have a job that provides it. So, um, if you got to pay out of pocket, what we need is some dentists so people can get some dental care because dentistry is so expensive. And, it's like, what you gonna do when your teeth hurt? Besides, I mean, I'd rather have a baby, to be honest, than have a toothache. Um, it's a shame in 2026 we're saying first Black owned. Well, maybe that's part of the problem. Do you think that's why the streets are so icy? Because some people are over here being upset about things that don't have nothing to do with them. Why is it? I don't understand the mindset. Why is it that, watching other people be successful instead of wanting to, like, feed into, the positivity you want? Shut it down. And I don't say this, I feel like tomorrow we'll talk about this a little deeper. But as far as I can see, we have self driving cars, we have robots that do things for you. Can we have one of my dreams come true? My goodness, everything else has been real so far. Can Magneto be real? Can Storm be real? I'm going to pick my own superstar team. Everybody pick their own superstar team. And it's time for a merger. So I don't want to hear about DC and Marvel. If I want somebody from either side, that's how it's going to have to be. That was I don't know, rant about, my own intrusive thoughts. Anyway, yeah. So Black doctors building together. In my community, I have, the doctors were, my daughter, the OBGYNs and everything. They're all of color. We walked in there. I did not know that. It was just, we were looking, and I wanted her to have a Black doctor during her pregnancy. So she ended up, and she did with both of them, but that's where we were sent. And all of the nurses and doctors in there are doctors either of, brown and Black. So it feels a certain type of way when you go in there. So you don't feel like you're automatically dealing with some weird ass animosity of indoctrination. So yeah, we got some other. I mean, I suppose you should call it Black excellence. I don't know if that's how I feel about it, to be honest. Um, but we gonna acknowledge it all the same. Where's this lady at? Here she is. So, meet the new Sam's Club CEO, tasked with taking on Costco. Walmart's veteran Latrice Watkins is now running the membership club, which generated 90.2 billion in net sales in 2024. Now, I did not know that Sam's Club was Walmart. I guess I should have realized, because when you leave the Walmart, generally that's what you see. But I don't shop at Costco um, because there's not one near me. If there wasn't one near me, I would do it, especially based on how they've been showing up, during this very stressful times in terms of trying to figure out where to spend your money. So I feel like, first, let me say, I don't know nothing about this lady. So I don't want to say one way or another. Clearly, she's got a title. They didn't DEI her. She's still there, which makes me curious. You know what I'm saying? Like, why did they keep her? Let me read this. It's a lot. So, and I'll tell you what I think afterwards. But Sam's Club gets a new CEO as Walmart signals a bigger fight with Costco. Walmart is handing the keys to Sam's Club to a longtime executive, Latrice Watkins, a leadership move that underscores a leadership move that underscores how central the warehouse club business has become to Walmart's growth strategy. The appointment comes as Walmart reshapes its senior leadership team, with Watkins set to take over Sam's Club, while the current chief, Chris Nicholas, transitions to lead Walmart International. So she gets his job and he gets sent international. I mean, it seems like they made space for both of them to do whatever it is they need to do. Sam's Club isn't a side business anymore. It's nearly 600 club operations and major revenue engine. In Walmart's latest annual reporting, the company says Sam's Club US generated 90.2 billion in net sales and accounts for roughly 13% of Walmart's consolidated net sales, reflecting how meaningful the membership model has become inside retail giant. Yeah, I mean, there's Costco, there's BJ's, and there's Sam's Club. I don't know who I know. Like I said, Costco is over here not doing DEI and all of that stuff. I seen something about Costco, but in terms of like the food, but something with the chicken. But they all doing weird shit with the food. So, some of that stuff you got to take as, smoke and mirrors. But Watkins steps into the role with one clear benchmark, Costco. The category, wow, they must be, you that bitch when you cause all this conversation. Um, and I feel like when all of this stuff happened, a lot of people moved their money to Costco in terms of where to buy groceries. Like it's very, I think, super important for us to be conscious of how we're spending our money. Target took a hit. There's still Target people because there's still people like, that follow their thought process, But there's companies out here that you could just simply choose not to spend your money with when you have another option and hope for the best. Costco, the category leader that dominates the warehouse club space in scale, loyalty, and perception. Profiles of Watkins' new job describe her mission as expanding Sam's Club's value position, especially through private label growth. And it's Members Mark, that's their private label. Stronger merchandising and more premium experience that can keep higher income members engaged while still winning on the price. Higher income members. What does that mean? If you ain't got no money, we don't want you in here anyway. So, that's what it sounds like. For shoppers, which is funny because how dare you, Walmart, be, discriminating against people when your clientele is not known for higher income people. They choose other places. For shoppers, the competition matters because it typically drives better pricing, faster fulfillment, and more aggressive member perks. For Walmart, it's a high stakes bet that Sam's Club can keep growing as a differentiated membership business, one that complements Walmart's mass market core while taking direct aim at Costco loyal customer base. Clearly Walmart wants to be in the, membership club business. My thing is, did they put this lady here to influence us because her skin is brown? And I'm not, like I said, I don't know nothing about her, but it seems odd to me that they would make that the face of, competing against Costco, Sam's Club. So you want to put, like I said, it's no Costco over here for me. So anyway, congratulations, Ms. Watkins. How do y'all feel about that? I guess as a company it's bothersome because you're trying to take your money away from Walmart. You say same people. Same people. What you mean? Costco is more expensive and has different type of food than Sam's Club. Yeah, because Sam's Club is basically just Walmart on a membership scale. So it would depend, I guess, on where your location is. There's a Sam's Club over here, but it's by Walmart. So why would I do that? Unless I'm just myself personally. I'm trying to move away from box stores and stuff like that, and it has been a struggle. It is sometimes an inconvenience when you go in Sprouts and I'm like, ooh, these prices are much higher, but you just have to buy smarter, I feel like. Because you go in Walmart and you buy and buy and buy and food that's horrible, but you can't really tell that either. So yeah, like I said, congratulations to that lady. I wonder if she's like Bose from Beverly Hills. You know what I'm saying? Walmart, like I said, to me is such a terrible company. It makes me wonder what kind of mindset. Oh, Walmart and Sam's Club are brothers. Yeah. It makes me wonder what that corporate ladder looked like for her. Corporate ladders are ugly anyway. I guess there's no. you just spend most of the time, well, not you, but me. I spend a lot of time conflicted, thinking too deep. Let's see, share the screen. And more black women news. That sounds terrible. This is a good thing. Um, Four black women are running for governor in 2026. Keisha Lance, hey Keisha, Yolanda Flowers, Dr. Carnita Atwater, and Dana Marie Foster, the first black women governor. I mean, governor elect could happen this year. Keisha's in Georgia. Dr. Carnita, where's that? Indiana, Tennessee, and Florida. I did not know about Dana Foster. I mean, yeah, Dana Foster. I knew that Dennings was running. Let's see. I'm gonna get it on my phone because I can't see, and y'all all know that. And if you didn't know, now you know. Um, Four black women are entering or have launched Goober National bids. Woo! I've never seen that word before. Ahead of the 2026 election cycle across the South. Moves that could reshape their states, political landscapes, and expand representation in some of the country's highest profile governor races. Former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms has confirmed she's running for Georgia governor, adding a nationally known name in an already watched contest. In Alabama, Yolanda Flowers, and Democratic nominee in the state's 2022 governor race, has signaled a 2026 comeback, with her campaign positioning itself explicitly, around 2026 run. Alabama, whoo! I guess, oh, child. Meanwhile, in Tennessee, Dr. Carnita Atwater has filed to run for governor as Democrat, with the primary set for 2026. In Florida, Dana Marie Foster has launched a campaign for governor, framing her bid around government accountability and statewide change. Well, I mean, for me, Miss Dana has changed the game. This is, a primary year, so you gotta pay attention because it's a Democratic race, but you want somebody to. It's already gonna be a hot mess. Let's be clear. Let's be clear what that even looks like, because it was a hard time to get people to vote in the first place, and now, um, I feel like the polls are going to be kind of icy. And you know what? When back in the day, where's Huey? Because we need folks to organize and make sure that they're not just going to the polls. You know what I'm saying? It's always black women. We'd be running over to the polls because that's not going to stop me from going. You know what I'm saying? But you need to be able to have a clear idea of who it is you're actually voting for. You know what I'm saying? Because politics is nasty. Please look out for Jasmine. We need somebody that's going to talk that loudly, never scared. Ooh, child. What else? It wasn't a lot of entertainment news, but that's okay. Like, I kind of just go based on things that I feel like we need to at least have a little conversation about. I'm not always so informed, but I can always take this little nugget and go do my due diligence. So that's where I'm at with it. Oh, Vanessa. So, Vanessa Williams, here she is. Vanessa Williams pushes through a heckler as he interrupts the national anthem performance. I mean, so again, let me go over here. So she's Singing the national anthem, it's a football game. Vanessa Williams was interrupted by a heckler while performing the U.S. national anthem before an NBA game in London on Sunday. Not football, basketball. As Williams sang the Star Spangled Banner ahead of the Memphis Grizzlies matchup with the Orlando Magic at the O2 Arena, someone in the crowd shouted, "Leave Greenland alone." The outburst briefly cut into the performance, but Williams remained composed and finished her rendition. The crowd reacted with a mix of laughter and applause to Heckler's message. The phrase "Leave Greenland alone" appeared to reference political controversy around Trump's interest in Greenland. I mean, sorry about it, Vanessa, but I think it's also funny. And I think this would happen like regardless to who was singing the song. It just happened to be her. But yeah, leave Greenland alone. I can't be mad at the message. And what great timing to do it like during the middle of the Star Spangled Banner. I mean, don't be mad at me. I didn't do it. That guy did it, but it seems kind of funny. Y'all remember when Don Lemon was on, what was he on? CNN? Was that his network? Now he got his own thing. He's out here in the trenches. Listen, he out here in the trenches. That's all I can say about it. It don't take much to make old boy mad, though, as soon as you have somebody that makes some damn sense. So this is Don Lemon, and he's out here in Minnesota.
It's secret that they invited folks out.
This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere. They don't expect us to come there, and then we disrupt business as usual.
This is an operation that is secret.
She said they disrupt business as usual. Is she the right spokesperson for whatever you're doing? I'm curious. Is she the one that you want to have over there disrupting business as usual? President Donald Trump escalated tensions surrounding a Minnesota church protest by amplifying calls for the journalist Don Lemon to face punishment over his coverage of the incident. He's being punished for covering it? Trump reposted a message on Truth Social. Have y'all ever been? I've never looked at Truth Social. I don't need to raise my blood pressure for no reason. Trump reposted a message on Truth Social suggesting Lemon could be prosecuted, as the U.S. Department of Justice said it would pursue charges related to the protest. So is he mad about the protest, or is he mad that Don Lemon, who's very popular and Black, went over there and covered it? The Justice Department announced it plans to move forward with charges connected to the Sunday morning protest that disrupted services at St. Paul Church. Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Harmeet Dillon publicly signaled out Don Lemon, arguing that journalism does not provide a shield from criminal liability and suggesting Lemon was aware of what was taking place inside the church. Even if he was aware, like he's just there, as a journalist, we're not going to say he's not a journalist. So anyway, while Dillon stopped short of confirming whether Lemon himself would be charged, that's probably because he can't figure out how to make that happen. She pointed out to potential enforcement under the Freedom Access to Clinic Entrances Act. What? Access to Clinic Entrances Act. They be making shit sound crazy. Under the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. And reference the Enforcement Act of 1871, also known as the Ku Klux Klan Act? Really? Who is this person? A Reconstruction-era law designed to protect civil rights, including the right to vote and worship. Lemon pushed back on the growing scrutiny, telling NBC News that the focus on him misses the broader point. If this much time and energy is going to be spent manufacturing outrage, it would be far better used investigating the tragic death of Renee Cole Good, the very issue that brought people into the streets in the first place. Huh. Don Lemon is too smart for Trump. Don't tangle with him. You won't even be able to understand what he's talking about. Now this lady is coming over here trying to create things, that she found in her granddaddy's law book. Trump's repost also revived debate over past enforcement of federal protest laws. The message referenced an abortion clinic incident, though details were unclear. In a separate case, several women in their 70s were sentenced to prison time for blocking access to a Washington, D.C. abortion clinic in 2020. Individuals Trump later pardoned shortly after beginning his second term. So I guess, the law works both ways. So I guess they don't think of that. In that case, as the Justice Department weighs in its next steps and Trump continues to fuel the controversy, critics and supporters alike are questioning whether it marks a new line being drawn between journalism and protest coverage and criminal liability. But is this about accountability or a dangerous test we know it's to test press freedom. That's what it's about. Cheat or not, he liked to say fake news. That's where he started. So of course he doesn't want, the press to be able to speak to the people and let the people go, know what's going on. And some of the people trust that Don is telling the truth. So let's see. I heard it from Don's mouth where he's like, they said that, but I don't know that he's surrounded around the smartest people. Let me try again, because I'll be messing up. I watch this podcast sometimes. I feel like this lady was on a reality show on Bravo about Oklahoma. I keep wanting to look that up.
This tweet from little DL Queen Benny Johnson. Breaking: DOJ announces intention to charge Don Lemon under the Ku Klux Klan Act. I want to remind everybody that Don Lemon is a Black man, and today is Martin Luther King Day. And I have to join us right now none other than best friend of iHip News, Don Lemon. Don, how did you hear about this?
I heard of someone texted me and said, "Oh my gosh, I'm really sorry that you're going through this." And I said, "Going through what?" Because I've been traveling all night. I was in Minnesota, and that's how I heard about it. But I have not heard anything from anybody, DOJ officially. I've just heard lots of people just yapping, on either the internet, on social media, or on conservative, podcasts or Fox News.
All right. So walk us through this. You went to Minnesota. You're an independent journalist. I'm sure everybody's abundantly clear with your work. And you are reporting on all of these ICE protests, and you end up at a church. Is that what this is regarding?
Yeah. So I went to Minneapolis to cover the unrest there. And I was asking people what's going on the ground. I'm going to get there. Should I go directly to the WIPO, whatever? And they said, well, there's this thing happening that they've been sending out flyers for. Perhaps you want to cover this. So I said, sure. And I went, okay, I'll cover. And then when I went to cover it, they said, we're doing this protest that is sort of similar to the civil rights movement, where they show up places and they sort of disrupt the peace, like sitting in at lunch counters or, drinking out of water fountains that were only supposed to be for white people. And I said, sure, I'll go, I'll chronicle it. And they ended up at a church. I didn't even know they were going to a church. They ended up at a church. And so once they went in and did their thing, other journalists started going in, and I went in. So I'm not exactly sure, Jen, how I became the face of it, unless they just think I'm the bigger name, but it's bizarre. And I reported on it. I interviewed everyone there, the pastor, some of the congregants, and the protesters. And that was it. And now all of a sudden it blew up into this big thing where I am the one who is leading the protest, And somehow I'm the agitator here when I'm just the journalist.
And so this church, it is friendly, is ICE friendly, is my understanding.
That's the reporting. So according to the group, and I have not been able to confirm this again because this wasn't my movement. I am chronicling what happened. They said that they found evidence that someone who is a pastor or registered as a pastor there is also an ICE agent or works in some capacity with ICE. And they said they had information about that. And they think that if that is the case, why are you a pastor at a church if you were working as an ICE agent? And so that's what their skirmish was about. That's what they went in to protest. And that's what I went in just to report on.
When I can.
So, yeah, I'll put the link in the bio if you want to listen to the whole thing. But, you know, you're that bitch when you cause all this conversation. Isn't that interesting? The churches. Let's get on to something good. What's up, Ja Tony? We just over here, you know, talking about current events and things that are going on. Yes, let's get into some good news. Feel like we got to talk about it sometimes, y'all. There's bees right there in our face. Jerry Rice, Hall of Famer. So he's out here, him and his wife, doing things for the community. Where they at? I wish we heard, you know, more of this and it'd be more of an inspiration to, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing to hear that they're doing it because they got it. Hall of Famer Jerry Rice and his wife, Letitia Palayo, I think that's how you say her name, are stepping up for students nationwide. The couple has donated more than $667,000 to wipe out lunch debt in at 103 schools across the United States. The move school leaders say, oh my gosh, a move school leaders say will immediately ease financial pressure on thousands of families. Rice, celebrated for his historic career with the San Francisco 49ers, said the effort was driven by compassion. No child should ever step into a classroom hungry, he shared. According to Afrotech, the donation was sparked during Rice's visit to Bay Area Elementary School, where he saw firsthand how unpaid lunch balances affect student morale, learning and access to meals. The funds will cover overdue lunch accounts in districts across the multiple states, helping eliminate stigma and ensuring students can focus on school instead of debt. Why are the kids stressed out about that? That is so not okay for them. What is it? There's not their debt. You know what I'm saying? This is something that they shouldn't even have to be dealing with. And what do? They don't get to eat. It's been a long time. You know, my kids, my last two, did virtual school, so they had something to eat. But that's wild. Administrators praised the contribution, calling it life-changing for struggling families. Several districts noted that many students will now regain full cafeteria access without fear of being denied meals. That is crazy. How come there can't just be enough meals for as many students that are enrolled in the daggum school? That just, that's how it should be, for goodness sakes. There's just pay the school lunch part for the kids, like tuition or something. How are they allocating the money? This is not a new subject, but it's just wild that kids are standing there, they can't eat because of a debt that's not even theirs. They have to go to school. Whew. Rice's generosity came as the lunch debt surges nationwide with pandemic-era meal waivers expired, and food costs rising. District report mounting unpaid balances. 2024 School Nutrition Association survey found that 97% of the district have seen lunch debt increase, with rural communities hit especially hard as wages fail to keep pace with inflation. The donation is already inspiring others. Silicon Valley leaders have pledged to match Rice's contribution in local districts, and former NFL star Steve Young has teamed up with Rice to support food shelters this holiday season. Rice Active Giving is feeding far more than meals. It's fueling hope, dignity, and opportunity for most students who need it most. Yeah, shout out to them. And like I said, that's one of those things that should inspire communities to get together, even if it's just the school in your personal district. Like, I don't understand why the meals are not just covered for the students that are enrolled in the school. With nobody's mama and daddy or anybody should be worried about whether their kids are eating at school. Too many Christians don't go by Bible. They go by whacked out traditions. You must be talking about Don Lemon and over there at that church. Yes, Trump took it away. I think they said after, the pandemic covered, after the pandemic covered, now all of those things are ending. You said your governor paid your school lunches and when the feds took it away. You mean over the holiday? They never wanted to pay for it in the first place. The free lunch program started from the Black Panther Party. Well, that's what I was saying. Like, even if it's in your community, as obviously people are going to have to get together in community. Even with childcare, I feel like, they're trying to take away childcare, the funding for childcare, which is an attack on mothers who I guess should be at home taking care of the kids. But then if there's no fathers, then who's going to pay the bills? It was all a part of Project 2026. What was taking the school lunches? Oh, you talking about, yeah. Well, they did say it was going to happen, but people tend to we walking around, and I know for me personally, you try to figure out how you can contribute. What can I do as one single individual? What can I do to, make the situation better? Over the holidays, we donated to food banks, because every little bit counts. You know what I'm saying? So as communities, we're going to have to get together. It makes no sense to me that the school lunches are not just covered. You know what I'm saying? Teachers aren't getting paid. Parents have to bring the supplies to the school. Back in the day, that wasn't a thing. You know what I'm saying? You could go, there was endless markers and pencils, and we had a school store where if you ran out of the things you need, you could go get a quarter and buy some pencils. You know what I'm saying? All of that money goes back into the school. Why isn't that covered? It doesn't make sense. And as a government that's okay with, I don't care if your kids don't have nothing to eat. I have a friend who is a teacher, and she got reprimanded for bringing food for one of her students that couldn't, afford. If she had hungry kids in her class, she was providing that too. As a teacher, I get that. And the higher ups want you somehow to separate, yourselves from the students and emotionally. And that's impossible unless you're a horrible person. But anyway, shout out to Jerry Rice. Hopefully, the chain will keep linking, and that kind of behavior will spread out. You never had to. Well, I mean, this is his mission. We finding out real fast how these people think about children. It's crazy. It's football season, y'all. I hate all the teams, so I don't care. I'm just going to see Bad Bunny, so I might be late to kick off. We know who won't be there. Tyreek Hill. Is this a win? How do y'all feel about this? So Tyreek Hill and his wife are going through a divorce, which, you know, she signed up for this. I don't feel sorry for her. Like, he has 9 other children, you know, before you walk down the aisle, and now you over here. Like, she managed to get to the altar. You know, was it for the... I don't want to say she's a gold digger, because, I mean, they picked each other. And if you pick a man that's wealthy like this one, you know, and you matrimony yourself to them, I guess there's expectations. They were together for a long time. So, you know, I don't want to get into that, but I'm just telling y'all what was said. A Florida judge sharply reprimanded Keita Hill during a January 7th hearing, concluding that her financial choices undermined her request for significantly higher support in her divorce from Miami Dolphins star Tyreek Hill. According to Us Weekly, while ordering Hill to pay $5,500 per month in temporary spousal support on top of roughly $20,000 in condo expenses, $3,500 in child support and health insurance, the court focused on how Keita used $100,000 Hill gave her for a vehicle instead of buying a modest car she purchased and child. Give me some grace. Instead of buying a modest car, she purchased a $196,000 Bentley. The court finds the additional $96,000 to the purchase of vehicle was excessive and unnecessary. The court also criticized her spending $37,000 on business ventures, paying off a Tesla, and placing $60,000 into an investment account, saying those moves revealed misplaced priorities. Now, investing in a business, how do you figure that's a misplaced priority? Judge, I'm guessing this is a man. Albeit the money was provided to the wife by Tyreek without conditions. The wife used, they're calling her the wife. The wife's use of the funds is indicative of her financial priorities, the judge said. The court further rejected Keita's monthly lifestyle requests, including thousands for clothing, grooming, and cosmetics, called her demands exorbitant and well above the maintenance required to support her during the divorce. Her attorney, Evan Marks, confirmed Hill must continue paying household costs at the Porsche's Tower condominium. It's called Porsche's Tower. In addition to the new alimony award. The case remains pending. I mean, is she... First of all, judge, relax. Do you think that's a lot? Like, what is he driving? This is my thing with it, Keita. This man, this Tyreek Hill, he's not like the brightest crayon in the box. Let's just say that. You using the money for things that is not going to pay off for you in the future. That's my thought on it. You bought a $196,000 Bentley. It's a car. Did you buy a driver, or are you going to drive yourself around in the Bentley? She had, you know, did y'all watch was it The Wags on Netflix? It was, you know, Ocho Cinco, Tyreek and Keita were on the show. And Keita, were they married at the time? I can't remember if they were married, or maybe they just got married, but she was having a baby and he's got like 9 other kids. So that's a lot of other money, you know what I'm saying, that he has to pay out. So if you're going to get a chunk, because it seems like they gave you, you know, I don't think that the everything is finalized, but just during the divorce, this is what the judge gave you. And you spend it on a Bentley. And I just don't know how long like Tyreek's money is. It just doesn't seem that smart. But y'all buy what you want to buy. You know, I'm not here to judge. I just think I didn't like that judge's tone. It was kind of irritate me. But at the end of the day, it doesn't seem very smart. You didn't have no investment properties or something that you could get some type of return on. So tax break for the people. Okay, so T said she should have got the Mercedes truck like everybody else. And then she said there's a tax break with the G-Wagon and can it's safe for the kids. It's true. It's true. But you're speaking from somebody who probably understands that Tyreek's money is not going to be that long. Neither one of y'all making good decisions over there. And then you're going to be somewhere out here looking for another baller to bag. I guess if that's the lifestyle, child, do what you got to do. Speaking of spending money, I saw this and I was like, what? Why do y'all want a Birkin bag so bad? Just curious. So Birkin said they don't want y'all. Birkin said they do not want y'all unless you live in a certain 90210 type, what you call it? Zip code. They're checking zip codes to see if you are qualified for a Birkin bag. So even if you have your $488,000 to purchase that purse, if you don't live, this is the interesting thing to me. This is another thing like Keita in the Bentley. These are specifically these are the same people that didn't want Oprah to come in their store. The fact that they're checking zip codes to see if you qualify for a bag, says enough for me. But you want to be over there throwing a Birkin party, Toya. Your son said you've made that bag your whole life. Why? What is it about this bag that seems like you would want to spend $480,000 on it? I can't think of a bigger waste of money. So, and I mean, so if Taylor Swift buys one, you know what I'm saying? It's still crazy, but she has so much more money, to spend on other things. And from what I hear, she does a lot of good things with her money too. Toya, what's her name? Dr. Simone. Dr. Simone's fashions are horrible. $30,000. I think that's on the low end, and they got to see where you live first. Y'all would want what you want, I guess, because image is everything out here. Lord help me. This boy wrote a whole message to his mama and daddy. So we're gonna call this the celebrity news because this is about what's going on over here on these streets. I did not know that what's his name, Brooklyn Beckham, was beefing with his mother and father over here. David Beckham, Victoria Beckham. It's weird when you see these kids from when they were really small children and now they're grown. So this young man is grown and his parents want to control, according to him, his entire life, all the way down to who he's married to. Let's see. So Brooklyn posted this on his Instagram, and I do not follow Brooklyn Beckham. He found me over here on, my timeline. But it says, I've been silent for years and made every effort to keep these matters private. Unfortunately, my parents and their team have continued to go to the press, leaving me with no choice but to speak for myself and tell the truth about only some of the lies that have been printed. He ain't even here to tell you all of them. He just shares some of the lies. It says, I do not want to reconcile with my family. I'm not being controlled. I'm standing up for myself for the first time in my life. I wonder how old he is. He grown. Um, for my entire life, my parents have controlled narratives in the press about our family. The performative social media posts, family events, and inauthentic relationships have been a fixture of the life I was born into. That's why they say you're not supposed to envy what you see somebody else have, because you do not know what's going on behind closed doors. Recently, I have seen with my own eyes the lengths that they'll go through to place countless lies in the media, mostly at the expense of people to preserve their own facade. But I believe the truth always comes out. My parents have been trying endlessly to ruin my relationship since before my wedding, and it hasn't stopped. My mom canceled making Nicola's dress in the 11th hour, despite how excited she was to wear her design. Imagine you about to get married, and your dress is going to be made by none other than Victoria Beckham, and then she bails on you because she doesn't like you. And maybe she has a reason, but clearly this boy is decided on Nicola. So, anyway, it says, despite how excited she was to wear the design, forcing her urgently to find a new dress. That sucks. Weeks before our big day, my parents repeatedly pressured and attempted to bribe me into signing away the rights to my name. They wanted to keep his name, which would have affected me, my wife, and our future children. It absolutely would. They were adamant on me signing before my wedding date because then the terms of the deal would be initiated. My holdout affected the payday, and they have never treated me. Oh, they had already made a deal using his name. Apparently, he said his holdout. Let me see. Yeah, his holdout affected the payday, and they've never treated me the same since. During the wedding planning, my mom went so far as to call me evil because Nicola and I chose to include my nannies, Sandra, and Nicola's nanny at our table. So they, because the help was the one raising the kids. Now they're mad because they want them to be part of the family. We know most of y'all rich kids be living dysfunctional lives. I mean, and he's over here telling it. Nobody asked. He just put it out there. But this sounds crazy. Like they wanted the nannies at the table. And, over there, that's what Princess Di and all of that elite shit going on over in, across the pond. Anyway, because they both didn't have their husbands. That's the reason. Both of our parents had their own tables equally adjacent to ours. The night before our wedding, members of my family told me that Nicola was not blood. Oh my God. And not family. They just don't want him to marry her. I guess, it sounds familiar. Like Prince Charles and them going that far, to control the life of their adult child. He's giving very much Harry. Since the moment I started standing up for myself, with my family, I received endless attacks from my parents, both privately and publicly, that were sent to press on their orders. Ooh, that's wild. Even my brothers were sent to attack me on social media before they ultimately blocked me, and out of nowhere this last summer. So his brothers blocked him, probably by, direction of his parents. I feel like, children are going to make choices sometimes that you don't always agree with, but I think there's a difference between that. Why would you want him to sign his name over? Because y'all have done a deal clearly without him even knowing what the hell was going on, which is, you don't own him. At some point you have to let it go. Let's see. before they blocked him. My mom hijacked my first dance with my wife, which had been planned weeks in advance, to a romantic love song in front of our 500 wedding guests. Mark Anthony called me to the stage, where Mark Anthony sang at his wedding, wherein the schedule was planned to be my romantic dance with my wife, but instead my mom was waiting to dance with me instead. Oh wow, she hijacked the dance for real. She danced very inappropriately on me in front of everyone. I've never felt more uncomfortable or humiliated in my life. Was she drunk? We wanted to renew our vows so we could create the memories of our wedding day and bring that joy and happiness, not anxiety and embarrassment. What the heck? So imagine you're like, in your youth, you found your bride, you have Mark Anthony there. I'm talking about the bride, because clearly, he's been dealing with this woman his whole life. You have Mark Anthony there, you're marrying the man of your dreams, and his mama hijacks your moment. And what was she doing? Twerking? That's wild. Meghan thought the royals were being racist till Prince Harry said they treat everyone like that, including him. I mean, and they're also racist. Let's, call a thing a thing. Oh my goodness. Anyway, my wife has been consistently disrespected by my family, no matter how hard we've tried to come together as one. My mom has repeatedly invited women from our past into our lives in ways that were clearly intended to make us both feel uncomfortable. And I remember back in the day, he used to date this actress. She's been in a lot of things, and I can't think of her name, but they were, dating and real cute and probably a good look publicly. So I can see her inviting people. Oof, child. Now I'm irritated. Because these are, really mean things. This isn't, just regular, I don't know, trying to control. This is her. Imagine how her parents feel. Good grief. I would be ready to let her know. I don't care who she is. Despite this, we still traveled to London for my dad's birthday and were rejected for a week. Wow. As we waited in our hotel room trying to plan quality time with him. He refused all of our attempts unless it was his big birthday party with hundreds of guests and cameras in every corner. So you don't want to hang out with them until the cameras are around so they can be fronting. And then behind the scenes, acting mean. When he finally agreed to see me, it was under the condition that Nicola wasn't invited. Really? It was a slap in the face later when my family traveled to LA and they refused to see me at all. Oh my God. Why wouldn't his wife be invited? Hey, Elsie. Elsie said, hit the like button. Ring the doorbell. My family values public promotion and endorsements above all else. Brand Beckham comes first. Wow. I guess family love is decided by how much you post on social media. Oh my God. I could just see it. I don't know why. I could just see her, trying to control this whole, because she's an entertainment girl. And clearly, what's his name? David Beckham is too. They're LA people. They've learned the game real good in all these years. I'm sure they made a lot of money just off of posting pictures of their kids. Oh, to have celebrity and be able to, I think a lot of people are fake on social media, but this is on a whole nother level where, your love is determined by how much you post on the internet, or how quickly you drop everything to show up and pose for a family photo op, even if it's at the expense of our professional obligations. Wow. We've gone out of our way for years to show up and support at every fashion show, every party, and every press activity to show our perfect family. But the one time My wife asked for my mom's support to save displaced dogs during the LA fires. My mom refused. Now I feel like he's trying to paint a picture. He's trying to get it all out. And this was on his Instagram story. The narrative that my wife controls me is completely backwards. I've been controlled by my parents for most of my life. I grew up with overwhelming anxiety. For the first time in my life since stepping away from my family, that anxiety has disappeared. I wake up every morning grateful for the life I chose and have found peace and relief. My wife and I do not want a life shaped by images, press, or manipulation. All we want is peace, privacy, and happiness for us and our family. I mean, that's sad. Because I feel like not everybody wants to be in the spotlight. I feel like that's uncomfortable when you think about it. I mean, for me, when I think back of pictures that I've seen of, the Beckhams, he didn't actually look like he was thrilled to be there. They remind me of that documentary on, I think it's on Hulu, called The Devil in the Family, where that mama was like emotional slaughter. Wow. I mean, I guess it would be, when you think about it in terms of it's your parents and you got both of them coming at you like that. But yeah, it's a documentary on Netflix about this mother who got obsessed with, making her kids, because they start making money off of being on YouTube. And it was just a vlog thing where people were just watching her and her kids until, the kids, it turned into a whole thing, cult thing. But I feel like a lot of kids are like that. Beyonce and Jay-Z, they kept their kids out of the public eye. First time we really seeing Blue Ivy since she was little is on this tour with her mother. So not everybody wants to be in the spotlight and forcing a brand on. And it looks like he's doing his own thing. Like I said, I don't follow Brooklyn Beckham, but yeah, this came across my timeline. This also came across my timeline. Did y'all see this?
To a major hygiene scandal. A video that went viral on TikTok shows an employee at one of its West Melbourne, Florida locations taking off their shoes and placing their feet directly on trays used for holding cookies. In the video, the employee in socks is seen resting their feet on a stack of trays while using their phone. The act quickly sparked intense public disgust and anger, with many customers stating they were disgusted and vowing to switch to competitors. As the video's popularity skyrocketed, netizens demanded the specific store address be revealed so they could avoid it. After the incident gained traction, Crumble Cookie's official TikTok account intervened with a response, calling the behavior at the store unbelievable and stating that an internal report had been filed and an apology extended to the video's poster. However, this failed to quell all doubts, with some consumers further criticizing the brand for its high pricing. Currently, the employee in question likely faces internal disciplinary action. This incident has not only plunged the brand into a PR crisis, but has also reignited public concern over back-of-house hygiene conditions in the food service industry.
I don't know. Like, I don't think it's necessarily Crumble Cookie's fault that the lady had her feet on the tray. Of course, it's Florida. Crumble cookies are very expensive and not that good. So this for me falls under the category of if you knew what was going on inside restaurants, you would probably never eat out, because somewhere somebody is going to get hired that's absolutely disgusting and does things like put their feet on the freaking cookie sheets. So yeah, I don't like Crumble cookies. Personally, I think they're way too expensive and not really that good. Where are we going to end it? We're going to end it, on some positivity, not with our feet on the cookie sheets. For goodness sakes. Have y'all ever heard of the Whitlaw Hotel? They wouldn't let us stay in their hotels, so John Whitlaw Lewis built one that they couldn't ignore. In 1919, the Whitlaw became one of the first luxury hotels created specifically for Black Americans, funded by Lewis' own Black-owned bank. So, I mean, he had a bank too. I would love to, learn more about him. designed by Isaiah T. Hatton, one of the nation's earliest Black architects. He said 1919. So, you know, we've been doing this far before being required to pay thousands of dollars to go to a university just for you can be told you can't have the job. Anyway, built by Black laborers, opened to thousands on day one. This wasn't just a hotel, it was a declaration. If they can shut the doors, we'll build our own. If they can shut the doors, we'll build our own. I feel like that's a good place to stop this morning. So, yeah, thank y'all for coming to hang out with me again. I had a good time over here, and I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tonight because T has something to say about the freaking housewives of Potomac. So y'all like the video, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, if you like these housewives, I'll be back at 7. Bye, y'all.